Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So I'm not sure exactly which direction this video is gonna go, but I wanted to redraw my old OC again. So I did a video similar to this where I redrew my persona, where I didn't change any of her design. I just interpret basically her design to my style today, and I thought it would be fun to do that with one of my favorite OCs at the time. So if you thought I babied my OC Masaki, and if you don't know who Masaki is, he's basically my favorite OC. He's the OC that like I draw the most. I'm trying to find a good picture of him, but I don't know if I did him justice anywhere. I guess this will be the closest. This is basically Masaki. So he's like my favorite OC currently, and he's like my most like part of my recent, like he's like in the recent batch of OCs where I only have like 4 OCs. But back in the day, or like back in middle school, so I think I started drawing Daiki closer to 8th grade, and during that time is when I started doing digital work, and I just really drew Daiki a lot. And like, I don't know, his design's a little bit weird, and his design wasn't super like consistent. So I tried to find more consistent artwork of him. I'll put like references and stuff so you guys can see what he looked like. But I'm gonna do my best to redraw him, what he would look like today if he was an OC that I had currently, because I have no intentions of like reviving my OCs. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not sure if I'm going to go on the route of a sketch page or if I'm going to go and do like a full portrait. I think I'm going to do a full portrait just because it would match the one with my Chio one, which is my persona. And I'll try my best to talk a little bit about Daiki and like how did he kind of come about, or, you know, why did I make him, I guess. So for the most part, I used to baby Masaki the most, but before Masaki, Daiki, and I have another female OC who I loved to draw at the time, but Daiki was my favorite OC. His personality, I'll talk about it a little bit later actually. I'm gonna start sketching so my brain doesn't get too confuzzled. So the funny thing is, I think I talked about this a little bit in a different video. I don't remember if it was an ASMR video or it was another kind of like draw with me video. But Daiki's design has a little bit of like a music aspect just because he has like a treble clef necklace. But I have no knowledge. I just have no knowledge on music terminology. I didn't play any instruments growing up. Like I played the clarinet for like a month and we moved, so I no longer had to play the clarinet because like growing up we had to pick up an instrument once you started middle school, but because I moved at the end of the 6th grade to a different school in a different city, why am I giving him such a like a baby face? I guess he's younger than Masaki though. We'll think about this a little bit. So I never really learned anything about music or anything, and I never really had any interest in learning an instrument. My parents weren't the type to force us to learn an instrument, probably because like we lived in a small town, so there's a little bit less resources unless you wanted to learn from like your actual music teachers and stuff. So I'll try to clean this up a little bit before we actually move on, but for the most part, I'm just gonna sketch it pretty similarly to how I have it in the reference. Because I mostly want to show the difference in, I guess, like style, like how he would look like now compared to like middle school me. And I guess in middle school, I really liked drawing piercings for characters, so that's probably kind of looped over into Masaki's design. So I just gave him like, I think they're like little studs for piercings. Because you won't really see it on the side. But he has like 2 earrings. Maybe we'll put like a tiny indication. We'll kind of fix it. What is his hair? I think before I thought the way I drew Daiki was super recognizable, and I'm just looking as like there's no consistency. He has like really long bangs though. I have like reference pictures of him with longer hair. Like similar to Masaki in a sense, but it's a lot longer on the sides too. But now he has like a lot shorter hair. And it's just kind of like, which do I go off of? Obviously I'm gonna go with the longer hair one just because that is the reference I am following. He's also my OC that has like an ahoge, and I think that transferred to Masaki. See, I don't know how to draw his hair or how to interpret his hair for the most part. He has like fairly long hair. I think at the time when I was drawing Daiki, I didn't realize how long his hair actually was. Which is like why I think in 2017 I started to shorten his hair quite a bit. Okay, so outfit wise, I think I settled for kind of like this black and white hoodie with a purple shirt. I need to give room for his necklace, so we'll shrink him a little bit more. I'll do another one with Sairi though. Because Sairi was like my favorite female OC that I had. And she has this really light green hair. Or vibrant green hair, I guess. It's not light, it's like really saturated green hair. And it's kind of like shoulder length that she ties in a side ponytail. And she has this cute like music note headband. Like I said, I don't have any like music, like I don't have a music background or music knowledge. I think it's just because I was super into Vocaloid. Especially in middle school. I still like Vocaloid for the most part, just for like more like nostalgia's sake. I think I mentioned in the other video too that Daiki's technically like my friend made a OC to match with Daiki, but we're kind of like his best friend character. And he had like a treble clef, or no, Daiki has a treble clef, and I believe the other OC had a bass clef. So I don't know if this is supposed to be like a hood, or I guess it's like a hoodie, right? Yeah, I don't know if I want to make him have sharper eyes. Because Masaki has more like rounder eyes. Even compared to like Hisoka. Or not Hisoka, Koji. But Koji also has like larger eyes because I do want him to look a little bit more childlike. So I think what makes Daiki more recognizable, at least to like my friends at the time, was that first of all, similar, like I always draw him in the same outfit, but his shtick kind of thing that I like to have for him is kind of that he dyes the tip of his hair to whatever color that he's kind of like feeling. It's kind of like this temporary dye that washes out and fades eventually, but he always had like almost like a sunset color because I mostly had him have like this purplish tinge to the tips of his hair, even though he's blonde or like light brown hair, I guess. Blonde, light brown hair is the kind of color I was going for him, but he changed his hair colors several times. I'll put pictures, super old pictures if I can find them. If not, I'll dig on DeviantArt to pull them up so we can find them. But we'll do the normal one that I usually like doing, so like the purple to yellowish color. He looks like my other OC though. Because I think I gave so I have a pair of twin OCs as well, or like twin OCs, and their names are Mei Mei and Momo, so they are like a female and male kind of twins, and he looks more like Momo. I don't know why. I think it's because of the longer hair. I think this is the reason why like I decided to give him shorter hair later on, but we'll do long hair. He literally looks like Momo. I'll put a picture of Momo if you guys are interested in who I'm referring to, because I think no one knows my old OCs because I don't publicly put what my old my old DeviantArt account was, even though I changed it back to my current name, but you can dig around in there and figure it out. So I don't remember if I already set this to multiply, but we're gonna change the sketch color, something a little bit more warmer, just to match his skin tone. We'll have to change this as we go. So, change this to multiply. Background color. Looking at my old work, geez. It's like more ambitious back then, but I don't know. This is We can change the color as we go. I'll put it kind of like this teal color. It looks a little bit more saturated for you guys, but hopefully this is okay. So I already have a new layer set, so we can put down the base colors. Masaki is probably similar in skin tone to... Did I say Masaki? Daiki's skin tone is probably similar to Masaki's skin tone, so he's on the paler side. A little bit more yellowy. Okay, because it's getting sunny in my room, I apologize about the lighting. I'm gonna have to keep changing the exposure and gain so you guys can see properly. I'm gonna keep this simple, so don't expect much. If you guys used to listen to Vocaloid, like during that time, like 2000... When was that? Like 2007? 2009, I think. 2009-ish till like 2014 maybe. It's kind of like when my Vocaloid phase was for a while. I still like Vocaloid, like I said. But I like the older songs. I know there's like a lot of new songs. I'm like having a lot of nostalgia right now. Not only because I'm thinking about Vocaloid, and then I'm drawing my old OC, Daiki, who I used to love super dearly. I'm listening to an old Teen Top song right now because my iTunes is like on shuffle. And how much I miss Teen Top. Okay, so eyes. I'm gonna choose a light color. It usually isn't like a pure white, just because I don't really like using pure white when digitally painting if I can avoid it. I'll add a little bit more yellow, because I think I wanted his eyes to be more like gold rather than brown, but the way that how I colored it definitely turned out to be more like brown rather than gold, but that is okay. Let's add a bit more shadows to his skin. So I have like an inclination to draw things very cutely, I think. And I think that's the reason why, even though I wanted Daiki to be more of like a cool character that's very like still sweet, he comes off still very like cutesy. So I'll just say it's like a light brown, like a super light brown. So the way how I do hair now might cause an issue of how I want to do this, because I usually like to bleed the skin color into their bangs wherever it kind of like touches the face, like right here. But if I have to add highlights or kind of these tips, like colored tips to his hair, this might cause an issue. So I do want this side to be darker, just because I have the light coming from the right side this time, even though the highlights in the eyes don't make sense. We'll just ignore that. I'm not trying to be technically correct. I just want to do myself justice so that my middle school self would be happy with this. Because in junior high, like, I drew so much. I don't even know if my camera was even centered the entire time. My matcha stuff is just super cold now. I really need to reheat it. Put that in a little bit. I'll just put this indication because I know I'm gonna forget if I don't. He has like hair that sticks out at the top. Okay, so I'm gonna keep deepening the color of his hair by adding a little bit more like purple colors for shadows, which might compete with his highlight colors. So we'll try to make his highlight colors a little bit to the cooler side. So I'm making this like a pinky color. We'll kind of like put white into it as we paint, but I don't want it to be like a stark white. And I'm wrong. I'll have to redo that. Okay, so his hood's white. Okay. Okay, so his jacket is it's supposed to be black, but I'm gonna change it to kind of just like dark purpley color. Because I usually don't go straight black, nor do I go like a very muted gray ever, unless I'm doing it only for like a background, like a temporary background. Okay, so in order to keep the shadows and consistency a little bit more even, I'm actually gonna do another multiply layer. So this is how I used to do his hair in the past anyways, so this is kind of revisiting that same technique. Is that using the multiply tool, you just go over the hair and it kind of changes the tip of the hair anyways. So we'll do this first. Oh god. So when I mean the tip of his hair, I'm literally mean like all the tip of his hair. Okay, let's quickly change this and we'll clean it up a bit. So his hair is definitely more... See, this is what I would do. So like sometimes he would have like green tips. Kind of looks gross and super unnatural, but I guess this is kind of like a thing. I'll go closer to this color. It kind of matches his shirt color too, which I think will work a little bit better. And in terms of cleaning it up, I'm just gonna use like a large brush and kind of just erase it so it's a little less harsh in some areas. We're just gonna have to paint the heck out of this. The funny thing, I feel like I like using purple to shade things, to deepen shadow or like to accentuate and kind of like push color a little bit, but when I'm coloring purple I feel a little lost. Which means I probably should add more blue to darken. That's too saturated. Okay, so I guess this is Daiki. So I'm gonna carefully merge all these downwards correctly. And this is what we're left with. And we can start to flesh out and render everything. Switch brushes and start fixing parts of his face. He's not really smirking, is he? I think it's because how I have his lips not centered. Okay, so it's still the same day. It's just later in the same day. It's now evening. And yeah, I did a little bit of liquefying on his face. So I don't really remember where I left off, so I'm pretty sure I was still like fixing the face up. So I'm just gonna continue to work on his face a little bit, that we can kind of like shuffle around as usual. I can see that texture in his skin. Not really liking that texture. which is why I don't really do the base color for the skin usually with my sharp render brush. Color of his eyes that I did, but we'll see if we can fix that by coloring in and making it a little bit cleaner. Because maybe I don't like it because it just looks too cluttered at the moment. It looks a little like muddy. Probably because my can I talk? My color choices. See, if I leave his pupil not like completely dark like the outline of his eyes, I think it looks like, because it's like a lot lighter than if I made the pupil entirely dark, I think I actually like it. So just gonna add this kind of like purpley color, mingle it kind of with the brown color a little bit so that's not too jarring, then add back those lines. An indication of a little bit of blush. The hair is really throwing me off too though. I feel like it's just the shape of it. The length is fine. I feel like, yeah, the shape of it is just not that cute. But like I said, I'm trying to mimic the look of how I drew, but it's just interpreted in my current style, so I don't want to stray too far from it. It's kind of like as if my past self, like my middle school self, my junior high self, commissioned me, like my current self. What would Daiki look like? Is someone... What is that noise? I'm gonna add a little bit of the yellow, kind of creeping up on the... kind of surrounding this pupil area. I'm gonna quickly block in a little bit of these larger shapes first, just so we can knock stuff out a little bit quicker, because I feel like I'm going a little too slow, because I feel like I'm indecisive at the moment. I'm actually gonna make the bangs kind of cross over onto his eyes, just because like abruptly stopping it looks a little funny in this sense. Let's see, so can they please just stop? I feel like 10 minutes haven't even passed. Okay, but this time they actually sound like they're driving away. Okay. A little peek outside, and I guess it is a sports car. Luckily, I think they're gone for now. I'm not even sure if they're from this area. Or if they're just doing like a test drive or something. I have no idea. My ears have to be ringing. I just keep hearing a constant buzzing noise now. Because of how long that car was still here. Working on a shirt kind of so I can avoid his hair. Can I make this a cooler purple? I just don't know if I want to make his chin more pointier. Leave it kind of like that. Okay, let's continue with the hair because I keep avoiding it. I should stop rendering his shirt for now. Because his shirt and his clothing won't be too difficult because I didn't leave that much in anyways. So let's focus on his hair. I'm gonna pull a little bit of this kind of blue color though to mix up here a little bit. I think I'll have more fun playing around with Sairi's design though. Because I still like Sairi, even like now. I just don't want to keep her as a character, I guess. I think it'll be fun to eventually do one of each of my old OCs. There's some OCs that I made closer to, I think, the end of high school and the beginning of uni? Or actually, no, I think I abandoned them by university. So probably end of high school or like middle of high school, like 11th grade. So one thing I noticed is that this side should actually have a longer piece kind of curving downwards. So I kind of merged the two pieces that I had. Kind of curve it downwards. I'm not sure if it's supposed to match, because it's up to my own discretion. Because I feel like if you took away the color, like I said before, probably didn't look like Daiki anyways, like when I initially sketched them, until I added like his shirt color and like his hair color. Because that looks, to me it looks like Daiki now. See, it depends on how I want to do this, because I could definitely make this look like it's bumped up a little bit. Like this whole section. Which doesn't look bad, so maybe I'll do that. I'm gonna shrink this section though. We'll figure this out after. I'm just gonna finish up his hair real quick so we can move on. Because after his hair, it's like very little to render because it's just gonna be mostly his clothing and like a little bit of cleanup for the most part. Oh, how much I love the song Flower. Like a Flower, I think? By Unflying. Ah. Also happy when 17 adds like a slower, almost ballad-y song. Woozy has very good ballads though. Like a lot of the ballads he's composed, like songs, like the one he did for Bumzu, the one he did for Beko. I both love those songs, as well as obviously Woozy's solos. I really adore. Okay, so let's work on his shirt, because I think his eyes, his hair, I think they're all done for the most part. I might actually... Let's quickly outline some areas that I missed. Okay, so I'm gonna fix this side of his shirt a little bit, so we can blend it into this blue. Should I do the hood like first, or an indication of a shape of a hood first before I started to put in where the hood is? Because this doesn't really make sense and I'm not really here to change it. I'm just thinking if I should lessen this gap more. Make the material look thicker. Probably make more sense. I'm still like kicking myself for not drawing this properly. I'm just gonna leave it. This doesn't make sense, but I'm just gonna leave it. I'm actually gonna lessen the gap on this side as well. Okay, I'm going to reblock in all of this. I hate the shape of what I just used for like his hoodie. So, we're gonna refill this in. I'm gonna get rid of this entire shape. And kind of redo it. I'll just leave it as this weird blob. So honestly, for some reason, I just can't draw that shape that I'm thinking of. And I think it's because I can't visualize his shoulder properly. So I'm just gonna leave this for now. And we'll start from one color to the next. So on the reference, we start with kind of like a yellowy color. Shrink this down. Switch it to a green. Slowly work our way down all the colors basically. I think I wanted the center to be like a purpley blue, so I think that's why it kind of started the way it did. Kind of keep moving across. This is actually working a lot better than what I thought. Probably looks a little janky, but that's okay. Can make it a tiny bit darker. A little bit more. I think the pink will be cut off, so end it here. That's actually pretty good. I think he is done. I think. That or I'm just tired of working on him. It's probably the case. This also isn't coming out from his head. Looks like it's coming from like the back of his head. So let's... Changing the shape just a tiny bit so it looks like it's coming from the center of his head. There we go. But yeah, this is my Uzi Daiki in my style today. So... yeah, definitely gave up on some parts, but for the most part, I think my like junior high self would be happy with this. I'm just double checking if I missed any important details. I don't think I did. It looks pretty, I don't know. You guys can tell me if you think it still looks like Daiki for the most part, or if he looks like a completely different person. I think he has elements that look like him, and maybe it's because like I knew what I wanted when I was younger, like what I wanted him to look like when I was younger. I can kind of see the resemblance, but maybe he looks completely different to you guys, so who knows. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me draw this. I'll do a quick overview though, because I think I skipped some parts that I might have edited out on camera so that you guys can have a quick overview. He looks a lot... ah, the hair. Changed his mouth several times. I just didn't like how he looked like when like trying to make him look like he's smirking. It just didn't really work out that well. And I think part of it's because of his jawline, but his neck looks a little bit thick. So maybe I can curve, like, maybe I'll shave down his neck a little bit even after when I'm done this. It looks kind of okay. I'll shave it down like a little bit. Too dramatic. Actually, maybe I'll leave it. I think that actually just works better. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching me redraw my old OC who used to be my favorite OC, who I used to baby quite a bit. But yeah, I don't really draw him anymore and I have no real reason to, I guess. I think it's just like I enjoyed drawing a character like Daiki when I was younger, so I think that's why I just really liked him. And I thought he was pretty cute when I was younger, but right now, lots of different choices I would make. Definitely would love to just... Gonna do a quick experiment. Imagine if his hair was like this. So I think in 2017 I kind of made his hair look a little bit more like this. Imagine his hair like this. I think it looks a bit better. I don't know. He looks like I don't know if it's because I like how round it looks, but I feel like it would have fit him a little bit better. Even if I tapered this a little bit more like this. I think it would have fit him a little bit better, but that's okay. This is what he looks like. Thank you guys very much for watching, and hope you guys enjoyed watching me redraw my old favorite OC Daiki, and hopefully next time I can do Sayuri and Hisoka next. But yeah, I think that's it for this video, so talk to you guys next time. Bye!